Hey everyone, this is Luke again, and welcome back to yet another Ninjago video onto the channel today. Sorry it's been a while since I uploaded. My schedule's getting really bad. I'm very sorry. There's just a lot of things that have gone up, and it also doesn't help that my motivation sometimes just isn't there to make videos. But luckily, today I have plenty of time to make this video. I have plenty of time, thankfully. And it's a topic that I've really wanted to discuss on this channel. And that is, did the Crystalized hate from 2022 go a little overboard? So if you don't know what I'm talking about, in 2022, we had one season that year, and that was Crystalized. It was this season that was supposed to be the end of the original series, or at least the end of the next era at the time. And let's just say a lot of people, including myself, were not big fans of it. We criticized the absolute hell out of it. We pretty much ripped it to shreds because we just simply didn't like it. We didn't like the choices. We didn't like the direction. We just didn't understand why the writers came to the conclusions that they did and thought it was okay for these decisions to make it past the storyboards into animation, into editing, all that jizzy jazz, and subsequently on TV or streaming. But there are some subset of fans who, I don't want to say blindly like everything, because of course there's going to be people who blindly like everything. But there are people who, strangely enough, like Crystalized and liked it for what it was. And a lot of these people, unfortunately, got a lot of hate messages, from other fans with a bigger fan base, and some of which had to kind of retreat into hiding, all simply because they liked a season in which people didn't like. And honestly, that's not okay. It's one thing to criticize and give actual, genuine good criticism. Not, oh, I hate it because it's bad. That's not good enough. Or something like that, You can't just hate on it for the sake of hating on it. You gotta have an actual reason. But a lot of them took it way too far and straight up tried to threaten people, harass people, and just trying to make their lives a living nightmare for other people, all because they liked a season that the majority of fans didn't like, which I've been in that position before. So, little story time. Back then, I wasn't the biggest fan of tournament elements because I just didn't understood why people liked it back then. Now I do, but back 5 years ago, I didn't understand it. I didn't think it was all that. So when I said it was overrated, people were questioning me. They were trying to give me reasons of, oh, why is tournament overrated? It's one of the best. How do you not know it? How do you not understand this? It's like they're trying to question my thought process because I just simply didn't understand it, because they thought I was straight up stupid or something like that. That it was almost like I was breaking the rule of Jesus Christ or something. I was committing sin for doing that. And I have a future video talking what I think a big issue for that is. But we'll get into that video later on. But basically, it felt like I was forced to like tournament because everyone else did. It's like just following with the crowd. Same thing with Skybound. And I'm still not the biggest fan of Skybound. Luckily, people are much more respectful, because at least with Skybound, it's a bit understandable why people are either like it or hate it, or right smack in the middle. I used to be on the hate side. Now I'm right smack in the middle and saying it's meh. But back then, a lot of diehard Skybound supporters have this like elitist attitude, um, and elite. They use like wording that really showcases their like high and mightiness. Some of which were well-known names in the community. I'm not gonna say who it is, but if you are watching this, you know who you are. But basically, one person said a lot of people don't understand. You don't understand the complexity and the greatness that is Skybound. It's like in your own mind, it's complex and it's great. In my mind, it's just nothing but a jumbled mess. Okay? Our opinions can coexist at the same time. And that's the issue I have with a lot of the modern mentality. It's either one way or the other. It's not like, why can't both coexist? Like, why can't someone who likes Crystalized and someone who dislikes Crystalized be friends, or at the very least, agree to disagree? And it's not just a Ninjago thing. This is more of a human thing. We just have this natural like thing where we have to like be almost on the same page almost every single time, and when we don't, we just grow into hissy fits with each other. Hence the common politics that we have in the world right now. Um, and that's kind of why it really stems from that just inability to just agree to disagree. I know there are certain quotes by certain historical figures that say, like, "Oh, you can disagree with me as long as it doesn't like." What was it? I think it was Malcolm X. You could disagree with me, but not on my right to exist or something like that. And because that's when it comes to like people living or dying or something like that. Obviously, that's a far more complex issue than I'm willing to get into, because it's not a politics channel. This is a Ninjago channel, so I don't want to bring politics or social issues into this. But it stems from that nature where we disagree, and sometimes we feel like we have to prove to the other side that we're right, they're wrong, suck it, there you go. It's just like, no, we don't always have to do that. Sometimes we can just agree to disagree. And honestly, I wish I learned this lesson a lot sooner than I did. Because honestly, I feel that if I did, a lot of the friends that I didn't have for now would probably still be my friends and then, because they would understand that point of view. Um, and for another example, but inversely, I like Hands of Time, but I know a lot of people who don't like Hands of Time. Do I harass them? Do I want to dox their information? Make their lives a living hell? No, because I know how much of a loser thing that is. You have to be a complete loser in order to do that, because there's no point in doing that. Like, what are you trying to prove at that point? Um, I respect people who don't like Hands of Time. Like, I understand the criticisms of the animation being bad, the dialogue being cheesy, or um, other criticisms like, oh, it's the middle part is very slow and it drags, because that's one I actually agree with, because some of them we actually agree with, like for example with tournaments. I At the time I didn't really like the idea of I like the idea of opening up the new world, but I felt like they were trying to do too much. Nowadays I feel like it's still a little much, but it's handled a lot better than I thought it was. So you know what? So I grew to accept it over time. And also a rewatch definitely helped. So that's all I really have to say when it comes to the Crystalized hate train. Um, and honestly, to answer today's question, did the Crystalized hate go overboard? Um, Initially, yes. I would say in the first few months since the last episode of Crystalized, it was bona fide hatred. It was like a wildfire. Nice. But after that, it seemed to cool down a lot, and now it's like frigid because honestly, I feel like disliked seasons are only going to be disliked until the next bad season or bad installment comes out. Like, for example, I did not like Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu, and I still didn't like it that much until the island showed up, which I thought was even worse. And then I kind of forgot that, and I even hated Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu. So it's kind of the same thing. People who don't like Crystalized are just waiting for that bad installment to sort of forget about it in full. Just like how a lot of the good seasons can kind of get overshadowed by other good seasons. Um, for example, Master of the Mountain came out, and then everyone thought it was good. But then Seabound came out, and a lot of people thought it was better. And so it kind of overshadowed Master of the Mountain's greatness. Although some people thought Master of the Mountain was better, which I don't necessarily understand why. Because Master Mountain is pretty damn good, but it's still flawed, whereas I can't really find a flaw in Seabound. So there's that. Um, but anyways, what do you guys think? Were you there during the Crystalized Hate Train, and do you think it went completely overboard, or do you think the hate was completely and utterly justified? Let me know in the comments down below. And also, just one more thing before I go, I also did mention the people that were on the team. Like, the hate went to Tommy Andreasen, which I did understand because he made a lot of questionable decisions and he didn't really justify them in his last um, appearance on the TTV stream. He said some really weird stuff, but that doesn't mean that the rest of what Tommy Andresa did, it completely means nothing. Like, I can respect the man for what he did and what he has done to Ninjago. It just sucks that his last season wasn't that good, at least for me. But anyways, I hope you guys like this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel by clicking on the red subscribe button, and clicking on the notification bell to see every video that I will upload. And I'll see all you folks in the next video. Bye bye!